It's a tattoo. It's the tattoo. I know I've seen some drip right there before.
Oh my God.
I want.
I will give you all of that.
It's a tattoo. It's the tattoo.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackburn 91. He could have left it there. See, the extra footage doesn't really help the situation. Okay, the extra footage just shows yes, Suki is obviously talking a little bit of trash. He says, you know, get your little young ass out of the way from here. You know, I'll give you the world, baby girl. But that is no indication that you can go now and grab them and kiss them. Look, usually this is what happens. There's protracted negotiations. Usually in these scenarios, there's protracted negotiations. There's things like, don't let me come over there, you know, and kiss you. You know, you start making these threats, okay, that allows a person to kind of give an answer back to be like, you know, I'm not about it or whatever, etc., right? There's usually some protracted negotiations that we normally have in that talking stage where before it gets to that messy part, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Or at least there's a little, you know, we look at each other and we're kind of giving that person an intention as to say, hey, we're about to do something, right? But he just goes straight in. Now, of course, he's actually come out to apologize and say his piece as well, because he knew he was wrong. So he's apologized and he's said he's sorry. We'll look at that in a second or two as well, his apology. But he's come out and he's actually let them know, listen, look, I wasn't wrong. And, you know, I respect that, you know, didn't waste much time, came out and apologized, said he was wrong, didn't try to make an excuse that, you know, he misread the situation, not that making an excuse that, you know, she was the one that was playing with him or anything like that. Just came out and apologized straight up, which is what needed to happen, right? And what's really important now, obviously, where Suki takes from here, we don't know, you know, and, you know, I think this again goes back to why I said we have to be very cautious not to read into something much deeper than it actually is. What I mean by that is sometimes you're reading something, right? You're playing with something, but you overreach and overextend. Do you get what I'm saying to you, right? Like for her, obviously, her situation, you know, her joking, even saying bars and saying, you know, I won't mind, you know, doing something to you. You know, you gotta be aware of, like, again, you still gotta take it kind of slowly. I told you that, yo, I've experienced things even at workplace. People grab my ass in the workplace. You know what I mean? I used to, because I don't work anymore. But you know what I mean? Have grabbed my ass in the workplace. You know, but they ask first, can I do this? Can I grab your ass? Like a girl will say, can I grab your ass? I just want to have a little feel. All right, cool. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean now I can go and start lipsing her. You get what I'm saying to you, right? It doesn't mean just because she grabbed my ass and she asked you that I can now turn around and just start lipsing her. No, you know what I mean? I still got to be like, hey, yo, can I kiss you or something like that? Or again, we do that protracted negotiation where we don't have to say anything, but you kind of inch forward a little bit closer to the person to let them know, like, you know, the ones there, you know, the game, you know the progression that's required before you can get to that stage. So going from 0 to 100 is mad. But in that clip, what it does show us is that before we got to that stage, they had their little interaction. He puts his hand on her shoulders and gives her a kiss on the cheek, and she's like, oh. So even there, she's a little bit like, oh, like surprised once more again. And for him to come back, this time he had it in his mind, he's gonna definitely lips it. Brother, we're out of pocket. Anyway, let's listen to his apology. It says, I want to publicly offer my sincerest apology to Sakani. In an attempt to be playful, I misread the moment and violated Sakani's boundaries. I understood the importance of consent and I'm embarrassed by my behavior. I take full responsibility and I've made multiple attempts to apologize. I have the utmost admiration for Sakani and it was never my intention to disrespect her. You know what? I believe him. You know what? I do believe him because I do understand how these situations do happen. I do. You misread and you misinterpret the situation, right? Like you overreach and overextend. It's still sexual assault. Well, it's what it is, right? Because you didn't consult to it. So I'm not taking away from that. I'm just saying that I do understand how it can be misread. I do understand how it can be misconstrued in this moment, because you obviously both of you are kind of engaging in, you know, she was giving a little bit of that sexual talk. She had to get your little young ass away from here, you know. I think she even said, you know, I'll turn your little ass out. So I can understand why, you know, but going to a kiss is kind of wild to me without there being any other behavior. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, especially when you've already done it once, and she was like, oh, and then you've come back a second time, which means you put your hand on the shoulders again, and this time you grabbed her by the neck, and then you ended up kissing her. Yeah. At that point, it's political, right? Now, of course, Suki obviously came out and she actually said, listen, she don't feel safe. She actually said it. She said she don't feel safe enough to say no. Right? She doesn't feel safe enough to say no. She doesn't feel no. I shouldn't say that. I'll kind of put 2 on 10 there. But you know, she did not feel comfortable being able to, I guess, reject in a sense, right? And that's real. And that's what I'm saying about, again, how these situations play out. You know, that if you don't pay attention to the scenario that's right in front of you, you're going to cause yourself major issues. You got to be attentive when these situations come up, right? Because Suki's obviously let us know that she felt some type of way, right? I hope they realize, you know, this is it. So yeah, man. I don't know. It's a bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel for her because these scenarios, like, here's my thing. I think she talks a good game. I don't think she's about it. And this is the problem. I don't think she's about it. I think she's just a good talker. And I think that's what makes it even more scary. It's like, this is your entertainment. This is your characters, your persona. You're not trying to live it. And so if you're not trying to live it, it becomes even more scarier. And I get it. I get it where the scariness can come from, right? Someone breaking your boundaries and et cetera, et cetera. So she necessarily feels safe. And I think it goes back to what I was saying about the point about, if she doesn't feel safe to say no, then it goes back to that fight, flight, freeze, flop, friend responses that people have. And when you're in that friend response, it can be very difficult, again, once more, to get into a place where you want to reject that person. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you're taken by a surprise, which I think she wasn't at a scenario. And there's another video I want to play for you guys real quick. I think is even more important to play, because I think this, for me, unsolicited pics are ridiculous, bro. Like, you know, that for me is nuts. So let's have a look at this one. And you can have a look at this one as well, because I think it's nuts to me, right?
A1?
But
I don't know. I just want to show Suki my pick and let her judge.
yeah,
I'll judge. She said she'll judge. Okay, can you show that to her?
Now, let's first and foremost say this. I want to say this, and I'll probably do it in another video. This is actually a separate issue. I just realized this is the first time I've actually probably heard it. He says he wants to show her his dick pic, and she said she will judge. So she actually agreed to this. So I need to actually go. I'm going to do a separate video, because when I heard it the first time and second time, I didn't hear that, which is really interesting, because that's a different scenario to the YK Osiris situation. Because YK Osiris situation, he broke her boundary. But watching this video a second time, there's actually a consent of conversation here, right? It's just that he goes a little bit too far when he's talking too much. But let's have a look at this, right?
1 minute life.
All right,
You said
let's
you were at what?
let her show.
Put my dick camera.
I know that's right.
So country.
Well, I feel like, honestly, 5 inches is a huge to me.
5
That's-
inches?
Yeah, that's big to me.
No, okay.
That's super big. I love that size.
I know my mom used to say she'd rather be tickled than be stabbed. Seriously, because you know some people got all that and they just be damn stabbing the hell out your ass, and it's not really, you know, always pleasant.
no,
It's thick.
no, but
It's thick.
you supposed to.
I don't want to see it. A1?
But
Yeah, see, go shot. Let's see what that mouth do. No, I'm saying vocally. Let's see what that mouth do vocally.
What does your mouth do?
Shit, everything you needed to do. I'll make that pussy spit, and I know it do. I watched you walk in this motherfucker.
So you can tell by my walk.
I can tell by your walk that pussy spit.
Hey, you a country? Where you from?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Camden Road to be exact. What's happening with it?
Not.
Now her body language is a little bit off. You can see her leaning away from him previously, but what she wasn't doing at the very beginning. I think we need to have a separate conversation because this is a very tricky one. The YK Osiris one is very clear. This is actually really tricky because we start off the conversation talking about he wants to show her. I mean, personally, I mean, yo, it's a bit wild for me anyway. But you know, and we're doing this in public. I think that's the part that's scaring me. Everything has been done in public. But yeah, we'll have another conversation about this because I just think that we can address it in a separate video because it's a separate topic and it's just too much. But yeah, I think it's real. You know, consent is a real thing, guys. Please just be asking these ladies because we don't want you in a situation.